welcome to the Magic of Boots 64th episode. Last time I made a mistake. This is Ronnie. I have Sudipta here. How are you doing?
You probably lost track of everything.
Yeah,
So
somewhere
far,
else. Yeah, it's
so
gonna
far,
happen. We're human. We can make mistake.
yeah, I know. But so far, really, how can I say, a bit relaxed, I guess.
Relax.
Or
You seem to lost at least a few pounds in the last few days.
yeah, I could not sleep more than 3-4 hours. I've
That's
been
bad.
waking up. Yeah,
Anxiety, huh? Uh,
sort
so
of.
Yeah, so the first semi-final just happened, and Argentina cruised through 3-0 against Croatia. Your take on the game?
Uh, Actually, only one song is buzzing on my head. Basically, muchacho. It was actually too much. The first 15 minutes, it was like really, how can I say? It's like a Western movie, and both of the teams are in the, how can I say, a Mexican standoff or something like that. No, like anytime anyone can shoot or something like that. And it was, how can I say, uh, quite a bit intense in a way. Like Croatia, actually, Modric was playing well first 30 minutes. Up until that goal, I guess. And even like after that goal, actually, um, we have been talking since the beginning of the World Cup, like after second round probably, like the second matches probably. Like we have been talking like this World Cup is going to be the World Cup of turnaround or turnover or something like that actually. And funny thing is that like Argentina is sort of like master of this sort of thing. So does Croatia as well. So it was like how can I say similar two teams was facing, and it was actually hard to predict or anything. We did not do any prediction, right? But we did predicted like what is going to be their strategy or something like that, and we were like really really close. Uh, Thing is that like another thing is that there were actually talk about the penalty. Like
There is no talk. We'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
just
I
before
heard
that,
like
I think before 35 minutes, let's talk about
yeah,
that, and obviously we'll talk about the penalty.
yeah,
Um, so I we kind of talked about that how to. Let's go back a little bit. The Canada-Croatia game, and we talked
yeah,
about Hutchinson being
yeah,
exposed. And if you
yeah,
saw Kramaric to Pasalic to Kovacic, they were just running around in the middle.
yeah.
And I think that
Actually,
makes
after first half, Levi was there as
right,
well, like
right.
to
So
score attacker.
exactly. So just running around the middle, and Hutchinson was still in second half. He was not given another guy. There was Takeo. There was, but it was pretty wide open because Canada was playing pretty attacking. So that gave a little bit of indication how Croatia attacks really. Uh, and the other games, if you see in Belgium games, they've started well, having the ball. Belgium at the end, I think they had a lot of chances coming from crosses.
80, 80, 75, 80 or
Exactly,
something.
exactly. And Lukaku obviously some missed some, but that's they had like first 50, 20, 25 minutes. It was pretty good Croatian attack and mostly through the middle. Um, and also through the right flank. So then from there you can see, and Brazil game they had only one shot, and it was 3 versus 4 kind of situation on the counter. And I think Japan game also they had a. It's almost like a fluke goal, I would say. Just put the ball in, and it
They
was a
had
header.
4 shots on target and 1 goal.
Right. So um, by seeing that, I guess we both agreed that playing a fourth midfielder makes sense because the three midfielders rotates and they're very good on ball. and the one actually drives. It's actually Kovacic. Yes, Modric drives too, but he tries to put the ball from deep. The one drives is Kovacic, and it was actually, and you have to be patient for 20, 25, 30 minutes to start them, you know, just tiring a bit. Then
Yeah.
you can have more control. So Argentina, I understand they were having more balls, but that was always the plan, just to take over and turn over and put the ball upwards. But they were not
Yeah.
getting it. They were the midfield, the Modric, even Brozovic and Kovacic. Kovacic especially had one or two runs, I think, beating two or three players.
Yeah.
Um, that time it was, but then again there was no end product, like defenders coming in and shutting it down and stuff like that. I thought the plan really worked, and also the other part was um, they paralyzed the Vinicius Junior side of Brazil because of their way of pressing, and Argentina saw that, and bringing Paredes makes it difficult to press because then you can build up through either Paredes or Enzo. So you have another outlet, and Argentina were
Both
happy.
of them are actually
Yeah,
press resistance.
and Argentina were
Even
happy
like
to
making
give
this
them the
stuff.
ball. You can
Yeah.
have ball. Let's see what you can do. So that
Yeah.
I thought was pretty clear, and they've been patient for 25, 30 minutes. Now comes with let's talk about that penalty. What was the talk?
I so Gary Neville's how can I say commentary? So
Gary Neville's.
uh,
Okay.
well,
Who else?
uh,
Let me tell you who else are talking about this. Shaka Hislop, Frank
yeah,
Lebov, those typical
yeah,
Messi headers.
both of them, yeah,
Um, uh,
both of them actually. Thing is that like the goalkeeper, the ball was actually like chipped up over the goalkeeper
it
actually,
was
and
Enzo Fernandez.
yeah, no, I was talking about the last touch actually.
Oh, okay, okay,
It was chipped over the goalkeeper,
okay.
and Alvarez was like going around and probably have another touch or something like that. And the goalkeeper actually was not actually trying to stop the ball because it was going towards his left, and he
Yeah,
was
he
actually
thought he
stopping.
thought Alvarez is
Yeah,
shooting. That's the final
yeah.
touch. Hmm.
No, it was like 2 feet
No, no,
away.
I get
Like
it.
you
Alvarez
can
took a
change the
touch,
direction of.
and he's
Yeah,
trying to go there. But the problem
yeah.
is, it's going to be penalty if the keeper doesn't touch it. Does the keeper touch the ball?
No, no.
That's it.
The thing is that like the keeper was diving like to a opposite side, like because Alvarez is coming towards his left, and he was actually stopping Alvarez, not stopping the ball because ball was his left, so he was not even trying to stop the ball or anything. He was just stopping. Even like his foot was like in front,
Right.
and according to like the old law, if you remember, Manuel Neuer actually hit.
Higuain.
Higuain
But Manuel Neuer touched the ball.
touched the ball. Yeah, exactly. So if he did not, it was a straight red card actually.
Right.
so that's the thing. And another thing, if you remember, actually doing those sort of things, actually, Argentine goalkeeper Evan Dangieri, who was actually injured in that actually the 2006 game when Germany knocked out Argentina. Thing is that like these are tricky decisions, but thing is that if the keeper doesn't touch the ball, or not even he was trying to stop the ball, so like it was like he made his last touch like at least like 2 feet away, and if I am a goalkeeper, I'm not that actually slow to
Forget
put
about
my
forget about goalkeeper.
hand like
Any
this. Yeah,
defender.
yeah,
Forget about being goalkeeper. If you don't touch the ball and you touch the guy who was
yeah,
having the possession,
yeah,
it's going to be penalty.
yeah. Of course.
It's as
Yeah,
simple as that. I don't
yeah,
understand of conversations regarding it. So it's
yeah.
either
That's
those
true.
people doesn't know about football or doesn't know about the law, or just
Yeah.
being plain Messi hater, nothing else.
I don't know what's their game, but thing is that Like the penalty was awesome. Like probably one of the best penalty Messi has ever taken. Like it was
Yeah,
like really
he
bold, you know,
yeah, he was aiming for the
and
roof. So yeah,
really, yeah,
it had to
really
connect really
clinical.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody is
Otherwise,
stopping
it would
that.
be, yeah. No, no. Thing is that there was these statistics, like where he put the balls. Most of the time, it was like obviously towards his right because he's a lefty. So goalkeeper was driving that way, but it was no way going there. So it was an interesting thing to see. And second part of the game, after it actually started after right after that goal, actually, Croatia were having some moments before that goal. Even like they were having some moments, and Argentina decided to make some turnovers in the midfield. Okay, and another thing is that like okay, we will go to the tactical board, but um, before that, I want to add a little bit like the second goal actually came from Croatia free kick, and I guess like Enzo or McAllister, someone actually owned the ball and put it towards Messi, and Messi was like making like sort of like a dying pass or something like that. He
Yeah, he was
was
fouled.
already fallen. Yeah, he was already fallen in the on the ground, and he was just pushing the ball towards Alvarez, and he never stopped. He probably he drove past like more than 60 yards,
Yeah, it
and
was a
so
direct run, and the ball
and
never wanted to leave him.
no, there were actually three touches. I thought like ball was gone or
With
something like that,
each
and then
defender.
yeah, yeah, it was like okay, like it's not going anywhere or something. Like it was like ping pong, like you were playing something
I
like
actually
really
liked
fast.
even the run of Molina when he was making the run.
Mm.
Molina made a diagonal run. I think it was
Yeah,
Molina was taking a defender, but it ended up like Alvarez wanted to drift
he was
on
almost like a
on
second
this side,
striker.
but he,
Yeah,
because of the bad touch and a deflection, he ended up being in the path of that defender, and that defender was tracking back and also deflected, and then the ball never left actually.
yeah,
So because of this deflection, Messi didn't
yeah.
got the
He
assist.
got the assist, but I guess it was counted as a key pass or something like that,
Yeah,
or
probably,
goal
but
generating.
then again, it's because of those touches of the Croatian defenders, it was regarded as not an assist.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but
yeah, brilliant. I mean, he got the
he was
space.
actually winning balls like from the center backs, like tall center backs. He was winning the balls. It was like, okay, these guys are not in the game anymore. Um, like after, like right around the first goal, actually. I don't remember actually. It was before or after, but they were actually he was actually winning balls up on the pitch. So yeah, brilliant for him actually. Like he was subbed actually, but
And
he was
the moment the four there are four defenders actually. Sorry, four midfielders were blocking each path and runs. It was difficult for Croatia to create anything.
yeah. Another thing, like third part of the match actually started from there after the second goal. I thought there would be some changes. There was actually, I guess, like Vlasic or
Vlasic,
something.
Vlasic, and
Yeah, Vlasic.
Meyer.
Meyer came later.
I think the other ones, number 7.
No, number seven is Meyer.
Okay, so
He came.
Lavaya, he came
Yeah,
in,
Lavaya came. No, Lavaya came after that actually.
right?
There is another one. The
Petkov,
Sosa, yeah, Sosa was taken off, and there was another guy.
yeah.
But that is sort of like a suicidal decision.
Well,
Actually, Argentina was.
they had to get goals, right? So
Yeah,
there's not
yeah,
much
true.
happening on the middle, so they tried to go with more bodies up front and hoping that they would get some crosses in, but never had a chance. And I should also mention about we talked about a potential weak link about Tagliafico. He had a magnificent game.
Wow, he is a magnificent like. Um, right before Lisandro came in, like for 5 to 10 minutes window, he was basically a winger. And I almost never believed actually. Like I saw Alvarez was winning the ball up on the pitch, and his closest passing, how can I say, option is Tagliafico.
Yeah, he
Like,
almost like
it was,
put Juranovic down or
yeah,
pinned back.
yeah.
And also the other part was yesterday.
Actually, actually, in the first half, before the first part of the game, like first goal, Juranovic had a good run up in the pitch, and like suddenly, if you remember that, like there was this 5-10 minutes of no 5 to 7 minutes of Argentine counter pressing and attacking moments before that actually. That actually started from there actually. Like Juranovic went up and suddenly he lost the ball. And there was this like pass from like Tagliafico to probably McAllister, more likely. And there was this another pass to Alvarez probably, and there was a pass back, and then Tagliafico was wide open, and there they were actually in this like counter situation. He was 1v1 against Lovren or something like that. And there was this another moment, I guess, like it was from I don't remember. It was either from Enzo or McAllister. There was and or Messi probably. There was this pass, and he put it in like a one touch cross, and nobody was receiving, but it was like really close to the
Yeah,
second bar.
yeah.
So
But
yeah, it was in.
just to mention, I just love it because yesterday I was listening to, I think, Stuart Robson. He's a commentator plus I think ESPN pundit now. He has his voice on the FIFA game, EA Sports.
Oh,
But he was telling how clueless he can be. Obviously, British pundit. He was he was telling Molina is an average, Tagliafico is an average, Benfica's weakest link is Otamendi. Then I was thinking, this guy's really
oh,
watch.
I actually had that actually. I actually
This guy's really, and Romero is aggressive, but you never know. Lisandro Martinez is okay, but
they never watched me gaming actually.
or they don't understand the game, or it's just a pure hate. It's just pure hate.
Yeah,
And
I don't understand. Either it's
they're
either
putting it
or.
as a only Messi plays. That's why I understand
Yeah,
Messi is the most. You cannot compare Messi with any other living football player. You cannot.
yeah.
But saying that Messi does everything is a hypocrisy of or showing their ignorance about how poorly they
And
understand the game.
another thing I saw that like although they are saying like really nice thing about Lionel Messi, like Roy Keane and Neville and someone else I forgot actually
Ian Wright.
today. Ian Wright, yeah, Ian Wright. And Roy Keane was mentioning like in every probably like 2-3 episode he mentioned or like after every game he was mentioning like. Messi does not run that much, does not participate in defensive areas, and that's uh, like there
Uh,
was this statistics, like in front of the screen, like in the first four game, Messi was the person who was getting highest turnovers, and after Alvarez came in the first team, it actually changed. Like Alvarez is now the guy who is making the turnovers because like even like today Messi has sort of like a hamstring problem probably and it was asked by an English reporter towards Dibu Martinez like um, if he's okay or something like that, and he was saying like okay he's getting man of the matches so he's okay. Super. But yeah, like they don't like either they don't watch games or they don't actually notice it or they probably I
Well,
don't know like
then, yeah, I remembered. All of a sudden I remembered because they're talking about Brazil being champion because of the names, nothing
yeah.
else. Because they don't see Brazil.
Thing is that like
If
yeah,
if
of course.
if their football sense is right, Brazil would have been champion by now.
Yeah, even before the World Cup
Yeah,
actually. But thing is that like World Cup, like in that pitch, in any pitch, you are allowed to play 11 players, and I don't know if like right now PSG has like Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, right? And two of them are in the World Cup semi-final. Like one of them already in final.
Yeah.
Probably another will go. Probably more likely or less likely. I don't know. It depends. But thing is that like PSG doesn't win anything like except well they win the
Liga One.
can I say Liga One. So other than that, they don't win anything in the or they never won Champions League because three of them don't
Name
what
doesn't win anything.
no name doesn't win anything and thing is that
Well,
like
think about even it. If the
they
name,
have
if the name
Julian
really,
Draxler
yeah,
in the
if
bench.
the name really won anything, England would have been
Yeah,
champion almost every second World Cup.
yeah, yeah. True. Even that golden generation in 2006 or 2002 probably
How
they
many
knocked
times
out.
England really were really gone far? Not many.
No, no. Even not even with Paul Gascoigne or so many. Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker scored 10 goals in the World Cup, but England was near, nowhere near.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's the thing. Actually, you are only allowed to like play 11 guy,
it's about team
and you have to
dynamics,
pick.
tactics.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like a management, like a resource management stuff like that. And they should actually give me a team in the World Cup. I have a master's degree.
But yeah, and also I was looking at Kaka, John Terry, and Peter
Oh no,
Schmeichel.
Kaka. For me, Kaka's interview was like really funny one. Like, well, he was saying the other day, Ronaldo is fat and something like that. But I do understand like what he was trying to say, but it's not like if you translate it like word by word, it's not funny at all. It's like sort of insulting towards Ronaldo, like the original R9. And Ronaldo was saying, I understand what he was saying, but his English is not good, so don't
No,
believe him.
no, no, no. He was telling in a apparently very good English today. Uh,
No, he can actually speak like three, four
yeah,
languages,
he's
four
living
actually
in the US
languages.
for a long time. I think
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
developed English.
Also he has business with like almost every other teams. Like
But what I'm trying to
probably
say is there,
yeah.
obviously Kaká had to say certain things, but obviously he said, I don't want Argentina to win as a Brazilian, which is understandable. I understand that. But
Yeah.
the other pundit like Peter Schmeichel and stuff like that, he's still bitter, I guess, beaten by Argentina in 1992. So, yeah, it was overall by seeing some of the ex players and how they're really, and especially through some of the English pundits, I'm really enjoying the win and the reaction of win. Um,
Oh,
so
yeah, that's why I actually watched that sort of thing actually. And then another thing is that like about Bengal, I mentioned in my last episode, like he never respected any South American player or anything
he
like
doesn't
that.
respect creativity.
Creativity, yes, exactly my point. He benched Rivaldo. Rivaldo was like
One of the
basically
best
was a
player
beast. Yeah,
in the
one
world.
of the best player actually probably walked into that pitch. If you mention one number 10, like all those number 10s for Brazil, like Brazil won 5 times World Cup, right? So if you
Even
mention only one or two,
Zico
no,
is not
no,
as influential was Rivaldo, because Rivaldo always came up with
Socrates was actually
some of the most important goal in 1998 World Cup, 2002 World Cup.
yeah, even like the passes actually was from the deep because of Ronaldinho. He had to actually shift, and they have a rotation going on. And Ronaldinho was like really on form, and it was Rivaldo's, like exiting or something like that. Actually, he was close to 30s probably at that time, but still he was managing Like if you mention like one number 10 or two number 10, I guess like probably what's his name, the guy who played with Pele,
Garincha.
Garincha. Yeah, after Garincha, he is probably their best. How can I say, number 10, whoever walked into that pitch actually. And if you compare like to all number 10s, like Messi is different case. Ronaldinho, before that, like Riquelme played for 1 year. Before that, he was the number 10, Rivaldo. And thing is that like, and before that, I guess Romario, right?
Yeah.
Romario, yes. If you compare all those four players, probably Rivaldo is like more well tuned, like well balanced player. And Bengal actually benched that sort of player. Bengal never give a chance to recall me. So I was actually watching their reaction, basically like what they want to say after that sort of game. And England was still in the World Cup. So like I was like really curious,
No,
what
the
they were.
British media basically said, "Oh, those guys are disrespecting us,
Mm,
disrespecting the sports." You know what? You can respect the sports by watching your team play comparatively well in the second half.
yeah, thing is that like respect that 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 sort of things is like all sort of made up, like for example, like Argentina played two games
Well,
like
England
recently.
celebrated same way against Colombia in 2018, isn't it? Same picture.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And another thing is that like what I want to say. Yeah, they don't actually watch other leagues or other thing.
so
And
arrogant.
someone, yeah, and thing is that like if you don't play in certain ways, then that means like you are a bad player. And like English, yeah, playing in English league might be how can I say, like the most competitive league, probably most money there probably. But you cannot actually judge the quality of player based on only one league. How many teams
And
actually
even
win?
even the Ian
How many
Wright.
teams actually win the Champions League in the last 10 years from English league? Only two:
Yeah,
Chelsea and
Liverpool.
Liverpool, and three times. That's it. And La Liga is dominating there. Um, I guess like Italy has problems like after that
Yeah.
financial crisis from 2008. Since then they're but they're getting there. And another thing is that like they don't actually give a, how can I say, uh, they talk really bad about like Italian league. But Olivier Giroud already scored 4 goals. And where does he play? He plays in AC
Milan.
Milan.
Yeah.
So that is another thing. And funny thing is that like now the goalkeeper from Croatia is in like is sort of like a hot cake in there. I actually saw,
Vardiol as well.
yeah, yeah, Vardiol as well. Thing is that like I watched them in the Champions League.
Dinamo
And
Zagreb.
yeah,
Yeah.
Zagreb.
Yeah.
I guess like they played against Chelsea. Like I watched
Yeah.
them for like first half or something like that, and that was like a really close game. Chelsea actually could have beaten actually, because Zagreb doesn't have that sort of like finisher. They were pressing really good in the first like 15 to 30 minutes, and then Chelsea came back. But when Chelsea came back, there was few saves actually from, like, he was a little bit how can I say, even like when you saw the players in certain games and in certain situations, and it was playing in on Zagreb Stadium, and I was actually uh, how can I say,
I think
well,
I think we're
I have a good
moving
memory
away.
around that. Yeah, yeah. We'll come back, but I have a good memory around that actually stadium. But what I tried to mention actually, I if you watch that sort of games, because it was a completely different scenario, completely different track and stuff like that. And I saw actually Gary Lineker talking about Maradona, that Maradona goal, the second one, um, because he was on that field, and he was telling Alan Shearer when they were actually like trying to do a jump or something like this, because it was a turf, you know, and it was actually moving away,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Hmm.
And when he scored that, like he was going to score that goal, and Gary Lineker was saying to him that like, I was only thinking that how can a guy do something like this on this sort of speech,
Because
you know,
he
like it,
he's used to it.
yeah, exactly. So like the turf situations, whether this sort of things, like if they are that is the thing I don't understand, like that arrogance I don't actually buy. And now well, there are talks like they're thinking about like a foreign coach or something like that.
England
But yeah,
Is Southgate down?
I don't know,
Yeah.
like some acting players or
Let's
like,
talk about Argentina and Croatia. I don't have any other interest to talk about England, because they have their pundits to talk about it, and they can
yeah,
self blow themselves. Uh, yeah. Coming back to the second goal. So Alvarez getting that goal. Did you feel that,
yeah.
first half happened because Croatia always try to come back? You know, maybe a different kind of approach in the second half, maybe.
Before today, Croatia actually conceded 3 goals, probably 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah, one
Uh,
against Canada,
yeah,
one against
one against Brazil.
Japan and Brazil. Three.
Yeah, 3. So Japan goal and Croatia goal sort of like in on speed. Brazil, I don't remember. Oh, Brazil goal is like exceptional goal. It was sort of like
It's
a
hard
Neymar
to
special.
yeah, hard
It's
to
hard to explain.
defend.
It's like yeah. Also, it's hard to explain. Like you can, when a player those sort of things on pitch, you cannot actually. How can I say?
Do much
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, you don't have to, you just have to enjoy as much as possible, or like watch replay. That's another thing, I think. Thing is that like they were sort of like they looked a little bit vulnerable on speed, like whenever a team is attacking on speed, and that's how actually Alvarez actually clicked, because he's like really fast. And we mentioned probably so many times when he was playing, or playing in Manchester City, whenever he was playing in River Plate, um, he was like really, how can I say, he has a thing for the finding space or making space, like it's hard to explain. um, and he does that like in really, how can I say, friction of time.
Hmm.
It's like it's like blink of an eye. He's like changing position, or like keeping the body open towards the ball or something like that. You cannot do that actually. It's really hard to do. Like if you are moving in one direction and suddenly change the pace, change the whole body movement and stuff like that. It's like really hard to do, and he does that thing actually, like that's why actually I think Croatia looked more vulnerable when Alvarez was getting the ball actually, and he's getting a lot actually, especially from that Lovren side. Lovren was completely out of the game today, like
Because
total whole
I've
90 minutes.
I've also seen a lot of Twitter people, and I actually, the guy actually writes for a different tactical board. He talks about it, and he was talking about how Croatia frustrates the others and dictates the ball, and Argentina would be for shock. I said, yeah, Argentina would love that actually. You can have your ball, and if you just underestimate that and you think about just leaving space, you'd be in for
Mm.
shock. So whatever Croatia had, it was pretty well known, and I think Argentina prepared that game very well, and came with obviously Alvarez, not just Alvarez, the whole midfield have played really well
Yeah, true. I was not actually sure about Paredes today, um,
because of last
because
game's antics.
yeah,
Yeah, he played a flawless game today.
yeah, he was flawless so far. And another thing, okay, I just wanted to mention like some interesting thing. And I just that's why I opened it actually. Yeah, Sosa was there. Oh, yeah, yeah. See, so basically, what they did actually, they were actually Enzo was sort of side. This was there. Yeah, McAllister was there. McAllister Pro basically was sort of like a moving, uh,
Moving piece, inverted.
yeah, moving towards this half space. You know, I saw like they interchange
Yeah,
position. McAllister Enzo. It was interesting to see, but you know, we know that like McAllister can do anything basically. Yeah, what I saw actually, Modric was shifting after like 5 minutes in that side and sitting sort of like this sort of area, and Kovacic was sort of like running vertically towards the box, and he actually made this run. And what it did actually, Argentines basically were creating sort of like a 4-4-2 block. Lionel Messi was there, and they were Croatia was overloading that right side of Argentina, and uh, with Kovacic, they were trying to create because like they could not actually break in with this block, and with Modric and on that another side, and Argentina was like Argentina was completely cutting off Modric and Kovacic with Enzo or McAllister sometimes, so they could not do the build up. And Tagliafico, whenever it was possible, he was there actually, and whenever they are making the overlap, sometimes Alvarez was like found there, this sort of area. So basically, what it did actually Messi out of the game. Yeah, Brozovic, he was taken off actually. He was injured probably in the second half. He tried to play, but it was not working for him. Yeah. So what it did actually, they blocked this channel like with Enzo, you know, and this is the thing I was like worried about. If they made like a flat block in the middle, especially if you remember, Valverde's team was creating sort of like a similar block with Vidal and
Paulino.
sometimes Paulinho, yeah. Uh, but that there's this different, you know.
These are more
So
dynamic
whenever,
players.
yeah, exactly, and sorry, and Deepal basically he was on to Perisic and Sosa. Basically, he was uh, sort of like a extra wing back or something like that. He was there always, and there's this
And you
gap
have
actually.
Romero too.
Yeah, Romero was like pushing up whenever Perisic was getting there, like trying to make a cut in. Romero was getting there, so like there is only one option is to buy the line and making crosses, and he was trying to do that actually. But Molina, I guess like is getting better in 1v1 situations,
Yeah,
I
he
guess.
is. And especially with
Um,
DePaul, he gets some confidence because I don't know, somehow he gets the confidence to go up.
Yeah, and Deepal was actually sitting a bit deep, and I did understand a little bit later, because when Parades was pushing up, um, he was needed in this sort of area, and Romero was going there to make those sort of blocks so that they cannot actually make the crosses. So they were blocking the crosses from the left, Basically, Perisic, they took out Perisic. Um, Sosa, he could not actually make the overload or make those
Overlapping
how can
run.
I say overlapping run, because there is this guy sitting over there. Um, so
You
there
have to
was no
bring
choice
those
actually.
two center backs up too.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, exactly. So the thing is that like basically he was allowed to go there. So that's why Modric decided to come here and push Kovacic a little further and Brozovic a little further and try to overload this area. And that's why actually like and both of these three players anyway, along with like Kovacic, um, they're like really good in ball. And sometimes Kramaric also like dropping down and try to lure in one of those center backs actually, try to create sort of like a distortion in this defensive line. And Tagliafico was maintaining this line like really strictly. So that is another reason actually like Enzo and McAllister did not have to run. Uh, like if you have to defend, you have to run more. So like that they did not have to run backwards more. Uh, so even though they are overloading some this area, they could not actually make because of this sort of blocks. um, and that's why Croatia looked a little bit dangerous, but sort of like how can I say,
Without any cutting edge or cutting,
yeah, without any how can I say, it's more like a
almost like an empty threat.
empty threat here, so sort of, because they weren't doing anything with the ball. But only there were some moments when they decided to make like a change in shape, uh, and Modric was going getting deeper, and when they are making this like 1B, like when Argentina was started attacking actually, and either Enzo was going up or with McAllister or Paredes or DePaul was going up. So there is this gap, like one of the midfielder was absent, so they were actually making like 1-2-1, like Modric is giving the pass to Kovacic, and Kovacic was giving the pass to Modric in this sort of area uh, between the lines. So that's how they looked a little bit dangerous in the after the first goal. That's how they got this free kick, and Alvarez actually made this I guess Enzo or McAllister made this turnover, and Alvarez finally actually scored. So yeah, that is so far the interesting part actually from that game. And after one or second goal has scored, there was change. Yeah, we talked about the change, but there aren't actually not
No, they
much.
then they normally used to have a control on the midfield, and after
Yeah,
the changes, that actually get lost too. I mean, it was KG.
yeah, and also I guess who was taken off? Paredes was taken off actually.
Yeah,
He was replaced with
Lisandro. That could be Lautaro too, right?
but he was not in the game. So yeah. So thing is that he was not actually a center back in this game,
He was more of
because
up there, yeah, building up.
he was there actually this sort of half space, sort of
So
like a
that
hanging
allows
left.
Tagliafico to go up.
Yeah, Tagliafico became sort of like a false winger or something like that, and he was pushing actually Juranovic, and that's how they weren't actually looking good on the other side as well. So basically, there weren't any space, and when the idea behind this overload was, or sometimes there was overload there, because they were trying to
Create
give those
space to
players, yeah,
other side.
yeah, 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 exactly. And even though Perisic was getting spaces, 1v1 against Molina, or more likely Romero, because Molina was in the counter so many times. I've seen him like making those sort of runs, like diagonal run towards the box. Um, so when I guess like in the second goal, he was almost like a second striker, or he was
He
almost
was
there.
he was taking a defender. He thought
Yeah, he was
he was
making.
helping
Yeah,
Alvarez, but
yeah, he was making this run, and then there, this sort of run. Yeah, and Perisic had to go against like Romero. Romero is like a really fast center back, so he could not do anything more. Uh, Given that, and we haven't actually talked about that Lionel Messi assist.
no, we didn't because we left it for the last cherry on the cake.
Yeah, yeah,
Talk
exactly.
about it.
Yeah,
Messi did look fatigued. He was. I was a little bit concerned when he was constantly putting hand on the hamstring. Is it-
yeah.
and then he just kept playing.
He made this run towards this byline, came there. I guess like a Viol was following him.
the,
Basically, he
the
was like
major
really
part of that, how did he make that run on that byline? I would never ever get that because such
and
close control. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, exactly. But control is not it's sort of like a messy thing. So like we sort of
yeah,
accepted. I don't know. Like we have seen it for like I don't
but
know
with
15,
pace,
17 years. Yeah,
yeah.
with pace, but we haven't seen him doing that. Actually, he did that actually with
Au-
PSG.
Australia too,
Uh,
a little bit.
no, not in the World Cup. Actually, he was doing that in PSG this season. Um, there were few runs actually. Like there few solo runs, sort of like solo runs, but it's not exactly like like 2012 or 2013 Messi or something like that. But there were some sort of solo run, but it was a little bit different flavor. Not similar as well. So what happened there actually? Like he made his like Gabriel basically blocked this area. He could not go there. There were only like Alvarez. Lovren was there, like following Alvarez. He was not like losing him. There was another player. I guess like Kovacic or someone else was coming back slowly, uh, probably this sort of area. Uh, he was sort of like undecided, like if he want to go there or not, or something like that. And Messi then like trying to go outside or something like that, make this run. And he was following that. He thought like Messi will make this
Go
diagonal
back.
pass,
Yeah,
yeah, or make this diagonal passes or something like that. So he was trying to block that actually. Sorry, yeah, block that, and um, then Messi ran,
yeah. It was
another run.
a body feint on the other side and
Yeah,
moving other side.
yeah,
It
yeah,
almost felt like a final against Germany in 2014. There was nobody
yeah,
on the Alvarez spot. Like if there was
yeah.
someone, uh,
No,
so so
that was the
Alvarez
difference between that team and this
dissed him.
team actually. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is it actually. Croatia basically what Scaloni is doing actually, he is stopping he's picking out.
He's reading the
Uh,
opponents
yeah, exactly,
and
and
neutralizing
like
them.
yeah, exactly. Like for example, he neutralized uh, Netherlands with like a simple changes in formation and personnel. I guess like put like certain personal 1v1 situation and stuff like that. And Dumfries was their best, how can I say,
Threat.
attacking option. Yeah, he neutralized that, and then asking Netherlands, okay, now play. He did the same thing. He neutralized that brilliant midfield. Although Modric was able to play well because he's like
But
Luka Modric.
not on
Not on
Argentine
that.
final third. It was more
Yeah,
towards
exactly.
Croatian half, so that's fine.
Yeah,
You can have the
yeah,
ball there.
yeah, exactly. So that was the thing actually. And I was thinking like after the third goal, that this sort of thing actually we are used to seeing from Real Madrid actually, especially last season. Um, how Carlo Ancelotti, you mentioned that actually you were comparing with Ancelotti towards him. I was thinking actually like probably this is the way you should play in the tournament. You know,
Yeah, I guess. Uh, now I obviously Scaloni deserves all the credit after especially the Saudi Arabia loss. They had to win all the game to come actually to the final, and they've done it. You have to give them props for
yeah, have you watched Lionel Messi interview after that game?
no,
Um,
no, no.
he
But
was
I
basically
think
saying the same thing what
yeah,
you are saying.
yeah,
He was saying like they had like five finals so far. They won all of them
and
because
there's a
like
sixth one
if they lose even like one of the games in the group round, they were probably
out.
eliminated or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
so there were losing was not an option for them
no,
actually.
and they started the knockout literally literally from second game from the Mexico game.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's interesting. By seeing that and the mentality of this team for turning this around, because they know like 36 game they haven't lost before that one result, so they have to find themselves and pick them up and start playing. But what I like about Scaloni is that he brought Dybala, Angel Correa, and Foyt in the game after 3 goals cushion, because then he thought, okay, we can give some minutes to these guys, and that is why we didn't see a lot of time Dybala and Angel Correa. Uh, but the other part is he is flexible to change his personnel, to change his tactics, to drop even Di Maria, who's been fundamental. He
whenever Rio is coming, is like Di Maria is like
yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah,
He's sort of like
exactly. And we were talking about in
scorable energy.
2014, Di Maria, when he was injured, and that's when Argentina's goal dried up. Not this time around. Now they are patient. They know they can find goals through
Yeah,
other solutions. And I
yeah.
think the other part, you have to give props to Scaloni as well. That he he never went with the winning 11. He changed if necessary
No,
by
yeah.
studying the opponent and where he can have advantage. The other part I liked about is he lost Lo Celso, he lost Nico Gonzalez. He really liked Nico Gonzalez. He literally liked Nico Gonzalez when Stuttgart was playing, second division in the Bundesliga. So he really values Nico. So Nico and Lo Celso was missing. So you need to find a uh, uh, after that loss versus Saudi Arabia, you need to find a midfielder, and then Paredes was not fit. Romero was not fit, so he brought the changes, but he kept changing it according to
Guido
the
Rodriguez was not in like good form.
no. So like Enzo booked his place in the first 11 in this World Cup in the group stage, and then you have Alvarez booking.
McAllister also.
Yeah, McAllister too. Alvarez booking a place ahead of Lautaro Martinez.
Also, David Beckham was playing. Did you get that too,
Yeah,
Joe?
yeah. Um, Alejandro Papagomez.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a so there's a lot of shuffle, and I think he took a 26-man squad. Now you can see how he utilized almost everyone, and with the right choices so far.
yeah, true. Um, Anything else from the final? I guess like they are probably going to chill and watch the match tomorrow, and
Yeah, and
then probably they
I
will
think what
decide.
they're trying to
I guess
do
like
is get more videos of both teams, possibly per France. Not
yeah.
disrespecting Morocco, but they'll collect all the information,
The
and
funny thing is that like Morocco only conceded one goal.
that's
It's
from
going to be
Canada.
like really, yeah, and it's going to be like really. how can I say?
But problem with Morocco, I can see in this game is one is exhaustion because they have defended so valiantly, and then the two center backs I think is injured.
They are
The
second
first choice.
high. Yeah, they are in the second lowest position in the in case of position.
Yeah, and France doesn't like those kind of teams. France likes teams that dominate them because they can break in.
Yeah,
So
they can use Mbappe's like pace and stuff like
Mbappe's
that.
pace and Griezmann's work rate, and
Yeah,
the other side Dembele's pace. Um, so yeah, I possibly think let's see what happens. One, but Morocco is not a comfortable team to play with,
yeah,
and given the
comfortable.
support they have, the Arab world.
Yeah. Um, Recently mentioned actually there were probably 13 or 30. I don't understand because of the accent. Um, Aeroplane were actually coming from Morocco to Qatar, and there was like 13,000 or something like that. No, 3,000 and something more uh, Moroccan supporters will be there in that stadium tomorrow.
Goodness,
Yeah,
Lord save the
and that's
France.
only from that's only from Morocco. Uh,
Yeah, and I'm sure because I was listening to the Sid Lowe's and David. Sorry, Phil Kitchemaladi's podcast, Spanish football podcast, and they're talking about how Saudi Arabia's supporter came through road. So there are a lot of Arab supporters. We
Actually, yeah, with Saudi, there was this incident, like with Qatar. They stopped actually, how can I say, um, what does it called? Telecasting or
yeah,
yeah, telecasting for like 2 hours before Saudi games, because they have some sort of hate or hatred or something like
but
that. So, no.
what I was told that that's the only team who can travel by like the fans can travel by road, and they
Mm,
came in numbers. Like
okay.
literally everyone came in from Saudi. So you can think of a lot of Arab world support too. So yeah, that's another thing. But let's see. I think Argentina will take it slow. Whoever comes out will study them and find the best possible solution there, like they've done.
Uh, do you want to add anything?
Not really. I think you need to relax a bit for a few days, and then you can go into anxiety mode again.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it was really, what can I say, really anxious moment
But
to have.
yeah, I somehow I don't know. Today I was watching the game and how I played it in my mind, like fast
Uh,
20, 30, 25 minutes, given that Croatian how runs and how it started to, you know, wear and tear out. I was reading that, I said, exactly. That's controlling the game without the ball. Yeah, they're one-on-one duels. Sometimes they're playing one-twos.
they are leading basically the like spaces. Like you should go there. There is a space.
Exactly,
And stuff like that.
exactly, and that's what I think. If any, I hope John Hardman was watching this game today, and he said literally, I'm not gonna say f up the Croatians. He should just learn this, how to run the midfield spaces against such team and how you read and analyze and execute. You can always have plan, but executing it's a different thing.
Yeah, true. Also, like situation changes in the match, and during the match, even like players cannot get good touches, and
Exactly.
they can lose
And
confidence. If you remember,
sometimes you have to just stick with it. You will miss some challenges, definitely.
yeah, we have mentioned Kyle Walker playing against
Mbappe.
Mbappe. After the first goal, they were taking more risk, and suddenly Kyle Walker won a duel, and then Mbappe could not do a single thing against him. So that's the thing. Actually, also depends like first touches and especially.
and how that player is feeling in the individual duel, and if you can come back. But yeah, I don't want to add anything else. Thank you. In case I really stopped you from talking.
No, I don't have to add any. I
Okay,
don't want to add anything. So
okay, sounds good. But what a night for Leo Messi, and what a night for Argentina. I think this will be his sixth final in a major tournament, international tournament.
yeah,
Well, finalissima too, seventh.
seventh.
So sounds good, and I'll wrap it up. But in case anyone is watching, please let us know how you feel. Share, comment, and we'll get back to that. But yeah, thank you again. Wrapping it up.